Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I want to talk about the Kingdom collab, which has made its debut in North America. So this is a brand new collab, which means it is justifiable to do at least several rolls because your first roll can't be a duplicate, and then there's a good chance, due to the fact that it's such a large rolling pool, you'll pick up something new and unique. And every single card in this event does have a certain degree of value, and they all come with weapon assist. So even if you do get bottom rarity cards, they can potentially help you out, especially if your monster box is on the weaker side. Like if it's less developed, any card is more likely to possibly help plug in various holes that you may be facing. But with that being said, one of the big draws for this event, I like to think, is that it comes with weapon assists that feature the newer awakenings, most notably either changing a sub-attribute to a specific color or changing a typing of the card that it's been inherited onto. And these awakenings are relatively new. There's not too many different places we can actually acquire them, and because of that, it does make this event have somewhat more novelty. But in that same breath, I wouldn't put it past Gung Ho to start, just putting out more and more and more different cards that have these awakenings, so it kind of like diminishes the uniqueness of these cards moving forward. So you have to almost kind of keep a bit of an open mind of thinking, well, yes, it has these new awakenings, but if those awakenings became more commonplace, would this now be as useful as a weapon assist? Maybe, maybe not, but regardless of that, I do think it is worth at least a couple of rolls. And what are some of the perks and pros for the Kingdom collab? Well, they do have weapon assists, and at least with weapon assists, every card at least has a certain degree of value. You can exchange for both of the 7-star cards, but it is a costly monster exchange process. It may not be necessarily something you can justify. There are so many different cards featured, which in theory means it's less likely you'll get a duplicate if you say do a total of like 5 rolls. Let's say you do like 5 rolls in total, including free rolls. Good chance you're not going to get duplicates. Of course, your mileage may vary. And then lastly, each card has actually 8 latent slots, and this is a big deal, especially when you're trying to use these cards as subs, because they can take the big 6-slot latent and then 2 SDRs or God Killer or whatever killer is necessary for the respective dungeon. It just gives you more flexibility in that aspect. Unfortunately, this event is not without its shortcomings. It is, I think, overpriced at 10 magic stones. Like, that is quite costly, and I feel like if it was like 8 or 7 magic stones, I'd be much more inclined to just roll more, possibly spending even more stones total, because I get the joy or thrill of just rolling and knowing it's not as punishing to get that like 3rd or 4th copy. And then at the same time, the large rolling pool helps you avoid, rolling duplicates in small amounts, but if you're someone who likes to roll hard in events to collect them all, so to speak, it's going to be much more difficult to collect everything or roll specific key cards you want due to the fact that it is a large rolling pool. Bottom rarity cards can definitely feel more underwhelming, especially if your box is more developed, and they do comprise over 60% of the rolling pool, so you probably won't be as happy acquiring those cards. And like I mentioned already, these new awakenings that were featured or are featured will eventually become much less unique moving forward, because that's just how power creep works. They slowly release these new types of awakenings across a variety of cards. So, what are some of the cards that I feel like are more chaseable ones, so to speak? And for leaders, I don't think any of the cards are truly standout leaders. We can make arguments that Wang Yi is, or Wang Yi, Qi is a strong and powerful leader, but it's only because his multipliers look great on paper, so to speak. It's 16 times effective health with dual leaders, but it only uses physical types, which does cut down on the sub-pool potential, I feel. And for subs, Wang Yi is one of them. I'm going to go over the key notable cards in greater detail. There is a rainbow-oriented card for those who are interested. There is a heavy wood and light-oriented TPA card, especially for those who like Daytona or just want a powerful wood sub as well. And then there are 3 useful weapon assists. I want to just take a look at the cards in a bit of greater detail, just to give you a little idea of why I feel they have value. So, firstly, we have Wang Yi. I guess maybe the spelling is different between my article and this. Whatever. Either way. Why is he useful? Well, he's got triple 10 combo. And you may think, well, triple 10 combo seems completely unnecessary. Why does any card need, 125 times personal damage while also having like absolutely absurd weighted stats? Like 7,000 attack stat on this monstrous personal damage multiplier is unbelievable overkill when you really think about it, but no longer due to super gravity, because super gravity dungeons can potentially produce all of your attack values down to 1%. So now his over-the-top, outrageously overtuned damage offensive potential is actually now more relevant because, you know, it's hard to actually hit meaningful amounts of damage with super gravity, and Wang Yi can definitely punch incredibly hard. And the fact that it's triple 10 combo means he can be used on mono water teams. You could possibly even use him on dark teams if you can make the argument that you can convert the water orbs main to something helpful. But it also can be used on rainbow based teams because, you know, rainbow based teams are almost every team nowadays really hits 10 combos. So in theory, as you can slot him on a team, you could definitely make use of him because the active skill is a transforming active, and all the cards featured here do have transforming active skills, and it gives you a 2x attack for subs for 3 turns, but it also gives you 2 turns of haste. So haste is always a useful aspect on floor 1 for getting yourself transformed or like hastening up key abilities so you can use them sooner. He basically comes with essentially 4 effective skill boosts with triple 10 combo due to the fact that he does provide haste. And then after this active skill transforms, is on a 3-turn cooldown that gives you 1 turn of void, damage void. So again, rainbow teams love that aspect. Even mono water teams are going to appreciate it because when you think about it, it's oftentimes just more effective to just match individual water combos or rows if you're like a blob style team, because the VDP Awakening only benefits the cards who have VDP, which may not be your entire team, and the fact that now you can just combo normally enables every card to deal meaningful amounts of damage, and it also generates a column of water orbs. So this 3-turn cooldown can generate orbs and ignore damage void while also giving you haste at the beginning of the dungeon, giving you massive personal damage, and the fact that it's a low base cooldown means you could also inherit something over top of it if you need another style of active skill that could potentially help you out. For Li Mu, they are a wonderfully powerful rainbow sub because they have high personal damage, high skill boosts, they have nice solid weighted stats, like well-rounded, and their active skill is a 12-turn transformation aspect, which unlocks your board and then converts the whole board to fire, water, light, dark orbs. So you don't actually get hearts, unfortunately, but it's okay. It's a haste. It's just what you do at the very start of the dungeon. And then after they have transformed their active skill, they are able to have a 6-turn cooldown that gives you a 6-turn attack buff that scales of every 3 attribute awakening. So Dai, Phenom, those teams, they have tons of those 3 attribute awakenings on the team. So this in turn makes this arguably the best looping attack buff available for those given teams. And they can use 8 latent slots, they can take double damage cap or the VDP latent and use it to like their fullest potential, I'd say, relatively speaking. They can take a killer latent alongside, so it's pretty powerful overall in terms of what they do bring for your rainbow based teams, because looping attack buffs are something you just really need to have because damage output is so stressed nowadays with like either spawns having so much effective health overall. So strong rainbow based sub overall if you do play rainbow based teams and you're fortunate enough to roll them. For Yang Duan, or I don't know, either way, they have double 10 combo and 6 TPAs. These are now the super TPA awakenings, so when you see that, it counts as 2 TPAs instead of 1, so it's 6 TPAs, 2 10 combos, stupendously high amounts of personal damage. And their attack set is also incredibly beefy. With their active skill to transform, it just unlocks your board and just makes it so you just deal tons of damage for 1 turn for wood. Not really what you're interested in. What you're interested in is the 5-turn cooldown that gives you 1 turn of void, damage, void, and then it unlocks the whole board and creates a board of only wood, light, and heal orbs. So your mono wood teams can definitely utilize this card, especially if they're able to match TPAs. You can make the argument that it is also great for light-based teams as well, because with such high amounts of personal damage, their sub-attribute hits incredibly hard. And then Daytona says hello, because Daytona loves any card that's light-based, that has lots of TPAs. They also enjoy the fact that it's void, damage, void. It's kind of like the next generation of Halloween Cotton, so to speak, when you think about it. It's got 4 skill boosts and a single super resist, more personal damage. It does have skill bind resist, which Halloween Cotton didn't have. And it's got a lower cooldown void, damage, void. It's 5 instead of 9 turns, I believe. So it's just more effective overall. So I can definitely foresee them being meaningful, except for the fact that at the start of the dungeon, their active skill is not that helpful. They can't inherit a delay or haste, which is often what Halloween Cotton would do, but if you can overcome that shortcoming, they're just an incredibly strong sub overall. And then for weapon assist, Sin, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's actually still a strong sub, but his weapon assists I find are quite exciting. You get a skill boost, a full bind immunity, and 2 team RCVs. And then on an 18-turn cooldown, you get water and hard orbs more likely to appear, but it's 3 turns of haste. 3 turns of haste is still relatively rare, and it comes with a skill boost. It comes with bind immunity, which might be helpful, but also comes with 2 team RCVs, which is something that every team can really benefit from. So it's just a meaningful weapon assist with a valuable active skill, and the fact that it gives an attacker typing, I guess, is icing on the cake, but I kind of, like I said at the beginning of the video, look at these weapon assists as if they didn't have the typing change, so to speak. So powerful aspect there overall from a weapon assist point of view. Their other weapon assist is also strong for water teams. It gives you a water sub-attribute and a 7 combo and a team HP. So it lets a card, say like Wang Yi, that 7-star water card, now have water. Easy to hit double damage cap on both main and sub-attribute if there's no super gravity, which can make your life quite exciting in that aspect. And then it doubles your damage because of the 7 combo. So it's a great way to layer in tons of extra damage for a given card. And it does work well on these transforming style active skills because they can't probably use the inherit on top of it because they need to transform their own active skill and then they enjoy the lower cooldown afterwards. So something like this could potentially be meaningful. In terms of other good weapon assists, I forgot to look at the Rainbow individual for their other weapon assist. But their fan is a 4-attribute offensive awakening, so large amounts of personal damage for rainbow-based teams, double team RCVs, and it does add balance type, which, you know, is cool, but, like, these are still strong awakenings, but it's a 22-turn cooldown that gives you 4 turns of damage absorption and attribute absorption cancellation, as well as unlocking the full board and creating all 5 colors and hearts. This is a powerful weapon assist, and on rainbow-based teams, it is actually a little over the top. You just gave that inherited card a monstrous amount of damage boost. You have an active skill that you need to have. You need damage absorption, you need attribute absorption cancellation in basically every dungeon nowadays, so it's something you do enjoy. So it's obviously very well skewed to rainbow teams, and if you can't make usage of their sub form, you can benefit from their weapon assist, which will have great value moving forward, I'd say, overall. But then again, you have this great sub as well, who I think will still have meaningful value overall. And then for the next weapon assist I want to touch upon is the 5-star Wang Ben, just because his spear gives you a 15-turn cooldown of the entire board becoming fire orbs, and then for 1 turn, 10 times attack for this monster. For super gravity dungeons that you want to swipe through, it can enable you to actually have that full board and an attack buff that's quite large for the owning card on top of it. So multiple duplicates of this card can possibly be put to use for swipe farming just because it's inheritable, it's a swipeable board, and it makes the owning card deal so much extra damage. And then the last card I really want to take a look at, I'm not sure quite if it's like a chase or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe I don't evaluate it that well, but I want to bring attention to it is Meng Wu, because they have 4 skill boosts, they have 2 of the brick or blob combos, and a combo orb. So basically, if you are swiping wood boards, they deal 144 times personal damage on their main and sub-attribute. They add combos due to the combo orb, and their active skill after they finish transforming is a 2-turn cooldown that creates 2 columns of wood orbs, so 10 wood orbs total, which you can rearrange into like a row and like a stick above, or hopefully, ideally, you have 2 other wood orbs pre-existing, and then you can actually trigger the blob awakening. 2 of these cards create a system, and if you're playing a blob-based team and you have 2 other wood orbs present, or you have other cards who can make wood orbs on a regular basis that's not inconvenient to use their active skill, they can be powerful sub for swipe farming. Not even just swipe farming, but like swiping through challenging content, because dealing tons of damage is a huge asset nowadays. So a card that can deal large amounts of damage, creates 10 wood orbs in a weird staggered formation, can be quite meaningful. But with that being said, all the Kingdom cards still do have some value simply because they do have weapon assist and they're at least more unique at this exact point in time. But on the other hand, I feel like this event is a bit overpriced in how much it does cost per magic stones. Like I said, it was 7 or 8 stones. I think it'd be much more enticing overall. So with that being said, let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below, along with this collab itself. Do you think it's actually worth rolling it? Did you roll hard? And was your rolling well rewarded? But regardless of all that, hopefully you all have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pet adventures, and happy puzzling.